Good afternoon, Radcliffe community and parents and families. We're here tonight because we are going to talk about feeding your brain and the importance of the food choices that help us grow and help the children's brain develop in the way that it should. So I'll go ahead and introduce us. I am Lisa Regazio. I am the assistant principal there at Radcliffe, but I'm also the Title I Family Engagement Coordinator. Tanya Smith, I'm going to turn it over to her and let her introduce herself.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, I'm Tanya Smith. I'm the Site Coordinator for 21st Century Program. Mr. Craig?
Thanks, Tanya. My name's Craig Buchanan. I'm the Family Resource Coordinator at Radcliffe Elementary, and look forward to speaking to you guys tonight.
So one of the things that you will be noticing in the chat, we do have a link there that will be a survey for you to take at the end of this presentation. If you're watching the recording after the fact, then that will also be in the chat, and you can take that, and we are going to use the names from that survey to actually draw for our prizes tonight, which are 3 crock pots with the ingredients to make soup. We have partnered with Kids Eat Right, so most of our PowerPoint and information and resources that we will be sharing with you all tonight comes straight from kidseatright.com, so feel free to reach out, Google that, and go to their site. They have lots of information. At the end of this presentation, we've got 3 cards that are nothing but resource links, so you could just have them all right here at your fingers. The overview of what we're going to talk about tonight is the benefits of good eating habits. And we have actually incorporated, it's called My Plate. And this helps parents and adults to plan healthier meals for their children that in turn feeds the brain. And then part of this tonight presentation, you will learn how you can use My Plate to even evaluate a child's diet, which would help with a lot of ADHD things. It helps with mood enhancements. There's just so much that goes into eating the right foods and how it affects us. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next slide. The benefits of good eating habits. One of the things is it promotes optimal growth and brain development. It maintains good health overall, but it establishes a good lifelong eating habit and behaviors. When you think about My Plate, and if you're watching this after the fact, we're now on slide 3, and it literally is choosemyplate.gov, and it divides the plate out to where you understand the portion sizes of each of the items that you choose. So you're making half of your plate up with fruits and vegetables, a fourth with grains, and choose whole grains when possible, but your breads and your grains, a fourth with protein, and then a very small portion of that being dairy. So we want to balance out your calories while choosing the right amounts of food on our plate. So again, the key message of My Plate is that half the plate is fruits and vegetables, and then a fourth is grain and a fourth is protein. We think about grains and we think about why do we really eat those? So they are a great source of carbohydrates. Now, I know that as America, we get on these fad diets of no carbs, super low carbs. Carbohydrates are actually needed in your diet. One of the things that you want to consider when you're looking at the carbohydrates is that you're eating whole carbohydrates and not processed. So when you choose whole grains or you choose items like an orange or a banana has carbs in it because it's got natural sugars versus a candy bar that has the refined sugars. So those are the differences when you're thinking about carbohydrates. You also want to think about protein and vitamins and minerals and fiber, and all of those things come from grains. Some really good choices when you're thinking about grains to fill that fourth of your plate. You're looking at the whole wheat, the crackers, the brown rice, oatmeal. Some of those things are great choices for children when filling my plate, with a fourth of the plate being the grains. We also get into our dairy products, and dairy is very much a needed. It does feed the brain, but it also is it's used to build strong bones and to keep your teeth strong and to keep the decay out. And one of the things that, when we think about taking care of our child, is that they're constantly growing. So we're constantly needing to make sure that they are putting in the right kinds of foods that will help their body grow, which also feeds their brain. Food groups that make up the dairy is the milk, the yogurt, cheese, and foods made with milk. The things that you do want to watch when you're choosing to fill your plate with the dairy is you want to choose fat-free or low-fat when possible. Yogurt is a really great snack for a child, but you also want to make sure that you are choosing yogurts that are healthy. Just because it says yogurt does not mean it's healthy. So, just get in the habit of looking at some of those labels. If there's a lot of added sugars and carbs, then that would not be a good choice. Look for low-fat cheese and whole wheat crackers, and you can make yogurt dips for their fruits and veggies, and it can become a family like a project. You can use those items that are good for their body, feeds their brain, and then you can actually make that with them at home. One of the other things that we'll talk about tonight is we're going to go ahead and talk about protein and why protein is such a vital part to the brain growth and the development, and the things that make up the protein group. So meats, fish, poultry, nuts, eggs, dried beans, and peas. And when we think meats, you will always hear them say, choose red meat only once or twice a week and make up the rest with your chicken and your fish. Nuts are a great source of snacks. Eggs are a good source for breakfast. And then starting your day with protein. This is such an important part. Starting your day with protein, it kind of lays out what's going to happen the rest of the day. So if you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is you have something very sugary with no protein to supplement that, then you are going to crash. So we've got a first grader, a fifth grader, and they're there at school and they're not starting their day with some type of protein in their breakfast, then they are crashing before lunchtime. And once they crash, then their brain just kind of comes to a standstill. So it is just so important that we are choosing foods that feed not just our body, but our brain. And now we're at the part where we're going to talk about vegetables and fruits, and Mr. Buchanan is going to take over on that.
Thank you, Lisa. As Ms. Regazio said, we're going to talk a little bit about vegetables and fruits in the next few slides. As many of you guys know, vegetables are packed full of nutrients and are low in calories. They are a must in everyone's diet because of the many health benefits of fruits and vegetables that is recommended that these two items will fill half of your plate. Parents may not know that it's okay to eat canned or frozen vegetables. They don't always have to be fresh. Just keep that in mind. And we can encourage parents to buy canned vegetables without salt added also, and rinse canned vegetables with water to remove any of that excess salt that may be on those. Some tips for parents to offer vegetables for their kids at dinner, so they may, be more apt to eat those, as you could include a green salad with your dinner every night. Or you could add vegetables to pasta salad or lasagna, or have a veggie with a yogurt dip or a light salad dressing, if that's something that your kid may enjoy or hasn't tried yet, and you feel that, it's worth a shot to see if they do enjoy that. We're going to talk about a little bit about fruits here. Fruits, like vegetables, are also packed full of nutrients, and they're also very low in calories. So again, because of the valuable health benefits of fruits and vegetables, that is recommended that these two, like we mentioned before, those two fill half of your plate. And that's easy message for you parents to remember. So fruits and vegetables are going to fill half of you and your family and your children's plates. Parents, you can feel good about giving a variety of fruit options to your children: fresh, canned, frozen, without added sugar, even dried fruit. You can also talk about fruit juice. That would fit the bill on that as well. Some suggestions for parents to do to add those into your child's diet would be to make fruit kebabs for your child for a snack, or a smoothie or a yogurt for your child. All right, so as far as the kids eat right and the My Plate key messages, we'll talk about a little bit about balancing calories. You want to enjoy your food, but you want to try to eat a little bit less. Avoid those portions that are oversized. So just keep that in mind when applying those portions to you or your children's plate, that you want, of course, anything is moderation. So just keep that in mind. Foods to increase, make sure, like we said, half fruit and vegetable, make sure at least half grains and whole grains. And if you're a dairy or a milk drinker, try to switch to a fat-free or low-fat milk, like a 1% or even a skim would be good in instances like that. If you're trying to reduce certain foods out of your diet, you can reduce sodium in foods like soup, bread, and frozen meals. And instead of sugary drinks and sodas, you can look at something like water. That'd be more beneficial. And as far as calories and sugars, that would definitely make a difference.
And Craig, I'm going to jump in here if you don't
Sure.
mind. So when we talk about foods to reduce, so when you think about buying a can of soup, there's a lot of sodium that comes in those. And of course, you can get those lower sodium, no sodium. One of a really good way to do the soup at home, it is cost effective, but it is also very healthy because you're not adding that extra sodium and things that come in when you're buying the pre-made soup. So one of the things that we decided to do with this kids eat night is we decided that what we would do is go ahead and give away a crock pot as one of our door prizes, and then the ingredients to make actually a homemade soup. So in the homemade soup, we have, you're using the fresh vegetables, you're using more of the green vegetables versus the starchy ones. So it's fine if your soup has, the peas and the carrots and the potatoes and some of those things in it. But kind of as a rule of thumb, if you're going to use a can of potatoes, then use 2 cans of green beans so that you're getting those whole vegetables that are not packed with a lot of extra sugars, condensed sugars, and things like that. So tonight, thinking about cooking healthy and feeding your brain and using the My Plate, then the door prizes will be a crock pot and all the ingredients so that you and your child or children can make homemade soup together. And it's just wide open. There are all kinds of things you can do to bring that to the table and make it a family tradition of making soup.
Good job. And you can see in the background, let me move my camera. There's the stuff set up back here. We got, like Ms. Regazio said, we did get several crock pots and the ingredients to make that vegetable soup. So hopefully, Mr. Cooper, you're going to be a lucky winner tonight. So
Absolutely.
And we'll get that recipe to you as well.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, Lisa. So we also want to talk about limiting empty calorie foods. So basically, we're talking about cutting back on fats and added sugars. Parents should try to allow no regular soft drinks or sports drinks. Water is always the best choice. Not to say that it's not okay to have on occasion, but let's try not to make those regular drinks for our kids with meals or even during the day when they're not eating. We want to empower parents to set a reasonable limit on cake, cookies, ice creams, desserts, etc. And it is very important to remember not to use food as a reward for your child's behavior. So if your kid has a good day at school, brings back all hundreds on their behavior report, let's try not to issue them some sort of reward based on food. Let's try to look at other options for that. This next page, Lisa, are you on page 12 now?
I'm not. I want to jump in here one more time. Sorry about that, Mr.
No, you're good.
So on here, it does talk about just very few things can change where something is borderline healthy or not so healthy to healthy. One of the things is when we're buying our ground beef, if it is 75% lean, it's very high in fat, But if you move it on up and you get the 95% lean, then you've just taken that one item and made it very healthy, just by going from the 75% to the 95%. Now, one of the things that I've noticed, just because I am very frugal, anybody who knows me, whether I'm at Walmart or the grocery store, I am frugal. So one of the things I've noticed is that the price difference, it's like, oh, wow. I mean, you're sometimes talking double in price just to move from the 75% lean to the 95% lean. So go back to my grandma. I loved my grandma. I used to see her like she would brown the beef. She was going to make a soup or make a chili, and she was browning the beef. And then I would see her pull that off onto a paper towel, get that grease off, and I'd watch her wash it. And I used to think to myself, what are you doing? Why are you running water over the hamburger? Well, then as I became an adult, I realized what she was doing. She was spending that lower amount of money for her ground beef, but she was making it very lean because she was washing out that added fat. So if you're like me and you're frugal at the grocery store and you don't want to pay $6, you'd rather pay $3. But one of the tricks is take it home. You know, when you brown it, drain it, and then wash off that added fat, put it back on and heat it up, and you're good to go. Just switching very minor things. We're going to have chicken tonight. Everybody likes fried chicken. But if you just take that and you're doing baked chicken, it's huge difference in how it feeds your brain. So now you're not feeding your brain those high fatties. You're actually feeding your, brain the high proteins. It's getting. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was talking to my dad. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. It's fine. So I just thought you had a question. I didn't want to keep talking.
No, you're
so
okay.
Yeah, if you, when you go from the fried chicken breast to the baked chicken breast, you have gone on a scale of 1 to 10. You've taken that up 5 on a healthy level. One of the things that, with my children, but my husband, he likes fried chicken. So we've started doing the oven fry. So there's not any added fats and all of that to that. And so when it's done and on the table, it's got the consistency and the look of fried chicken without all that other. So there's a lot of ways just to take our basic food and keep it on the healthy side. Craig, I'll go ahead and move us to the next slide if you're ready.
All right, ready when you are. Basically what this page is going to talk about is a little bit about several ideals for foods to serve within each of the food groups, the vegetables, fruits, grains, etc. This is all recommended on a 2,000 calorie diet. It'll give you a breakdown of what that looks like. If you'd like to look further at that or print it off, I think feel free to print these off, Mr. Cooper, if you would like, or you can go to myplate.gov also. All this information should be on there, but
Okay.
These are just ideals on what to serve with each group. It makes it a little bit easier as far as meal prep and things like that go. So takes a little bit of the stress away from trying to eat healthy. I know eating healthy, like Ms. Regazio said, it can be expensive and it can be stressful trying to come up with new, like we get in a routine of eating the same types of things over and over. But if we want to change our diet and if we want to try to start eating healthier, we kind of got to recreate the wheel. So
Right.
this website has some very useful things, tips, recipes, things like that, and that are healthy for your family and your child. All right, we're on 13, Ms. Regazio.
Let me go back over here to it. Yes, we are.
All right, so we mentioned the choosemyplate.gov. It's a wealth of information. There's information on there as far as physical activity goes. There's about developing and maintaining good eating habits. If you have a child who is a picky eater, there's some strategies on there to try to accommodate those eating needs of that child or what may they be interested in and ways to find that stuff out. And then also for food safety as far as temperatures, preparation, things like that. The site also provides detailed information on how to get more of a specific food group into a child's diet. There's a lot of recipes, tips, and it's an amazing resource for families and just a wealth of information. Can you go to 14, Ms. Regazio?
I just did.
Oh, okay, thank you. Physical. We talked a little bit about physical activity. this website is going to help our parents and families and encourage physical activity. And a good way to promote physical activity within the home is to make it a family time. Some of the ideals for an active family are you could turn off your TV, set a rule that limits screen time to no more than 2 hours per day. And when we talk about that, let's start small. Let's not become overwhelmed. This is something that you're going to have to develop and will become part of your routine. The more you practice, like anything else, the more you practice, the better you and your family will get at it. But start with one new activity and then expand from there. You're going to look to set specific a schedule. So schedule a time when the whole family's available and stick with it. A routine is good for things like this. Schedule's good in order to build that routine and build new skills. Enroll the kids in classes they may like, whether it's dancing, ballet, karate, if it's a sport, soccer, basketball, football, whatever your kid may be interested in. Just get them out there, get them moving and get them active. And Mr. Cooper, I heard you said you were talking to your dad there. Try to invite your other family members, aunts, uncles, grandparents, fathers, make a big family event. And therefore, you can try to work to build a healthier family.
Right.
Ms. Regazio, can you cover 15? My throat's a little itchy.
I sure can. Actually, 15 was covered with your 14. So we're on number 16 now.
Okay.
And we're just talking about My Plate and it's great and why. Of course, again, tonight we have partnered with Kids Eat Right, myplate.com. It's an easy to use resource for planning your healthy meals and snacks. It shows the balance of foods needed for the kids to grow and for their to feed their brain. Parents can use it as a way to serve healthy meals and balanced meals. And it's a tips for dealing with all kinds of variety of feeding issues. And again, we'll go back to My Plate being half of our plate is fruits and vegetables, 1/4 protein, and 1/4 the dairy, or the grains. So we just want to make sure that, when we are starting this process, that we're really thinking about, here's my plate, and then just kind of visualizing that off. A really cool activity to do with the kiddos at home would be to even take a piece of paper, put it on the plate, and have them draw out, like half of it's their fruit and vegetables, and then the other half being 1/4 protein and 1/4 grains. My Plate, one thing, and Mr. Craig has already covered this a moment ago, but My Plate is designed for everyone in the household. It is not just designed for our kiddos at school. And as we feed our brains, then a lot of things with our own bodies function better. The last slides are 18, 19, and 20. It's going to give a lot of information, resources, different types or different websites you can go to. There's dietitian. There's a thing on there about how food affects our brains, our moods, and all those kind of things. And so we left these slides at the end because we wanted anyone that was part of this tonight or watching it later to actually be able to go back and have access to those resources. Tanya, do you have anything you want to add? I know that she has been awesome about running our chat. She's been dropping the link to the survey and links to some of our resources in there. So see if she has anything.
Yep, that's the only thing I was going to say is go check the chat for the link to the survey before the presentation gets closed so it doesn't go away.
Mr. Cooper, do you have anything you want to add or anything that stuck out to you tonight or anything that you would like to have some more resources? We can always print them, send them home to you.
If y'all could send home the plates list of the vegetables and grain and all that, that would help out a lot. Because both my kids have food. They're real picky eaters. They both have autism. So they're starting to eat a lot better now. They're starting to eat vegetables and fruits. But I'm really trying to get them on a better diet.
Awesome.
So
I'll
this
print
helped me
that
out
home.
quite a bit.
I will print that whole PowerPoint and send that home. There's also one of the links that's on there is like where you can print the My Plate and have the kids write it in or draw it in.
Right.
So I'll print you some of those too, and you can do that as a family.
Yes, that would be good.
You will be one of our recipients of our crock pot and our ingredients to make the healthier vegetable soup. So you can work that out with Mr. Craig. Just run by the school and pick that up, or however y'all want to work that out. But
Yeah.
will
Are
be
you
one
going
of our
Mr.
recipients.
Cooper, are you going to be around tomorrow? What's your schedule look like?
I'll be at home tomorrow doing the NTI.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll run that stuff over to you, and I'll have me and Mr. Gazio, we'll print that stuff off, and we'll just bring it all to you at once, okay?
Okay. That would help. I sure do appreciate it.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything they want to say? I know that we've got Miss Gentry on here. She is one of our fine teachers at Radcliffe. I tell people often she's one of the best teachers. I say one because we've got a lot of best in the whole entire district. Trish, is there anything you want to add?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay. I always like to give everybody the chance to share their voice if they would like to. That does conclude our presentation tonight. And as Mr. Craig said, we're going to get all that information for you. He will deliver that with the crock pot and all of that. We did record this so families can watch later. Last year, we found that we might have one or two that would join us live, but by recording them and sending them back out, we usually end up with about 30 people that will participate. So this has been recorded, and there'll be others that'll watch it later.